I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
Houston, we have a problem.
But why mail models?
Are you not entertained?
Why so serious?
It's alive! It's alive!
The snozberry tastes like snozberry.
All right, welcome to Film Logic, a movie podcast looking at the past, present, and future of movies with every fandom in between. We are part of the Retro Logic Network, which includes On Topic, Retro Logic, and Retro Groove. And we're not just a network of podcasts, but a swell group of geeks on Discord as well. Speaking of geeks, my name is Mike, and I am with Adam.
Hello, I'm here.
And not just one geek, but another geek. I'm with Shannon, the geekiest geek of them all. I hope he likes that I said that.
Shan.
Absolutely. Own it. You gotta own it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Shannon, tell us a little about yourself.
All right. Well, I have been a geeky geek for, well, my whole life. But especially when it comes to things related to, I kind of call them my pillars of fandom, right? So, first one is Nintendo. Second one is Marvel. And third one is Star Wars.
Wow.
Yes, part of a complete breakfast.
That's right.
Now, I have some rumors about your geekiness.
All right.
I hear that you like your house the same temperature as the planet of Hoth.
I don't know how my wife would feel about that, but it does keep down the heating costs.
Yes. And after you saw the Mario movie, you now hate mushrooms. Is that true?
Well, don't tell Mario, but that's not true either.
Oh, geez.
Man, where am I getting this information? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know which is more dangerous, disappointing the wife or disappointing Mario. Those are
Right. Exactly. You got to load that pizza up with mushrooms.
you got to do it.
Disappointing either leads to lonely nights. Mhm.
True that.
Mhm. But let's talk about some movies. And I wanted to start off on a lighter note, even before we get to the icebreaker.
Yes.
Did you know Netflix still does the DVD queues where they'll send them to your door?
Wow.
Really?
Yep. They've been doing that
Whoa.
since 1998.
Jeez.
So we've been iced out of my parents' Netflix account because Netflix is doing this doesn't go to your house. So we no longer have access to Netflix. So I went back on the queue and I filled that sucker up to the brim. And I want to share some I want to share what I've gotten.
Oh,
right.
boy.
This is going to be good.
Based on this, you have to tell me what kind of person I am. So
Okay.
I just sent back 2 copies of Sister Act, the same Sister Act.
What?
Yes, they gave it to us twice. Right.
Okay.
Next, I'm getting Ghostbusters Afterlife,
Okay.
Okay.
a movie called Loose, which I think Lynn likes. I have no idea. Batman Gotham by Gaslight.
Okay.
Okay.
Murder,
All right.
Murder by Numbers, to Sandra Bullock, that one movie she did in 2002. Teen Titans, The Judas Contract.
Awesome. That's a good
Okay,
one.
that's a good one. Yeah.
Isn't It Romantic, starring Rebel Wilson and Liam Hemsworth.
Okay. Okay.
Kiss the Girls, starring Morgan Freeman, 1997.
Mhm.
Along Came a Spider, the sequel to Kiss the Girls.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. Escape Room, with which I want to see the first one before I see the sequel because I don't want to be lost. Marathon Man, starring Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, that's
That's yeah.
yeah.
I hear that's a classic. I hear that's worth
That's
it.
classic.
It is a classic. Yep.
Bloodwork, starring Clint Eastwood, like this very obscure movie he did in 2002.
Never heard of that one.
No,
Um,
neither.
Batman Hush,
Okay.
Another classic.
Stephen King's Cell with, it's got Samuel L. Jackson and John Cusack on it.
Whoa, okay.
On the front, but they're not billed in the starring. So I wonder, it's starring Anthony Reynolds and Owen Teague. So who knows if they're actually in it?
So it's like a very early 2000s movie.
Yeah, 2016. That's when it was
really?
cool to put like washed up actors. Well, he's not like I don't know how they got Samuel L. Jackson. They probably
anybody can get. I can get Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, right.
I don't think it takes much. Just offer a paycheck.
Right. I think they could only afford to get him on the DVD cover.
That's right.
Justice League Dark Apocalypse War.
Okay.
Spy, starring Melissa McCarthy.
All right, I've seen that.
Superman Unbound.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
Pain and Gain, starring Mark Wahlberg, Dwayne Johnson.
Oh.
Okay. That one's okay.
Superman Red Sun.
Okay.
The Running Man, which I thought was Marathon Man. So I thought I'd get both.
Uh-huh.
John Wick Chapter 4.
Okay. Very nice.
And this movie called Spartan, starring Val Kilmer in 2004. I just like the word Spartan, and the DVD cover looks good.
Okay, wow. That's quite a shopping list.
I know. Am I going to have great nights, or am I going to have great nights?
I mean, some nights I think will be better than others.
Are you saying the Morgan Freeman nights better than the Samuel L. Jackson nights?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
In this case, yeah.
Man, I mean, the DC animated features that you got there, those are some...
You can't go wrong there.
I'm so excited for those. My wife, on the other hand, not so much.
Right? Yeah, no, I mean, the DC animated features, I mean, I don't know what the disconnect is between whoever makes those and whoever's making, the live action ones, but man, they got to take some notes.
Well, I think it all lies in the fact that there's absolutely no pressure to fail in the animated universe, which means you'll pass because you have all the free time in the world.
Right.
So, speaking of all the free time in the world, are you guys ready for the icebreaker?
Yes.
Let's
or do we want to? Yeah, I mean, let's do it.
We can talk about your DVD queues. I don't want to hog it all the queue.
Yeah, I don't know if we wanted to talk about what we were watching.
Oh, yeah. Adam, I just assume whatever came out on Thursday, you've seen.
Let's see. I actually, the last time I was at the movie theater, I saw they did a re-release of Raiders of the Lost Ark. I guess just to get ready for the new Indiana Jones movie, which I hope is good. I don't know. I haven't heard too many positive things, but yeah, that was really cool. I love Indiana Jones. Who doesn't love Indiana Jones? But I've also been watching, this isn't a movie, so you have to forgive me, but I've been watching the like 2010s Mystery Incorporated, the reboot of Scooby-Doo. It was on the WB, I think, or Cartoon Network. It's so funny. It's so good. Like, I just watched this episode where there's a character in it called the Night Ranger. He's not the bad guy. He's just a funny, like, little side character. But there's like this ghost cowboy a la, like, if somebody took Jonah Hex and mashed it with Ghost Rider, that's what you would have. And so he's terrorizing the town or whatever. And he named his horse Greg. So he's just like this ghost cowboy firing these bullets at things, and he's just riding a horse named Greg. And you're just like, this is beautiful. I love this.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great.
That is the gem that you found, because I would never accuse a Scooby-Doo series made in the later 2000s of being good.
Yeah, it's really great. It's really funny. Like Fred in the show is his like defining characteristic is that he loves traps. Like so much so that he forgoes a relationship with Daphne because he just loves traps. Like that's his, as much as Shaggy and Scooby love food, he loves
Mhm.
traps. And it's yeah, it's pretty funny. And
Mhm.
there's an episode where it's HP Lovecraft kind of themed, where the bad guy, the villain, is like this, Cthulhu-esque monster. But the author is not named HP Lovecraft. Instead, his name is HP Hatecraft.
Oh,
See
And
what they did there.
yeah, right. They
that's a
really
wink.
rode the line. So I mean, it's great. So if you guys have, and the best part is that they're 20-minute episodes. So like you can zip through one or two and you're all set. What I'm really waiting for is Secret Wars. I'm sure a lot of us are, or
Yeah.
Secret Invasion or whatever's
Secret
coming up
Invasion.
Wednesday. Secret
Mhm.
Invasion coming out Wednesday, right? I believe.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm thrilled for it. Especially, like, of course, I'm excited to see what's going to go on in the Marvel Universe, but I'm also excited to see Sam Jackson on the small screen. I don't know if he's ever done a TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
They've
can't think of
blurred-
anything
Yeah,
other than like a guest star role.
Right.
they've really blurred the lines between movie and TV.
Yeah, right.
Now, there's TV shows that are better than movies, and there are movies that feel episodic like TV. So maybe he's just confused. He's like, I can't tell the difference anymore. Is this a movie or a show? I don't know.
You and me both, Sam.
Speaking of Indiana Jones loving, does anyone remember the adventures of young Indiana Jones? And is
Oh,
there a
yes.
way to stream it?
Some people were talking about that.
It's supposedly it's on Disney Plus. It was supposed to come out at the same time that they re-released the first 4 movies on there. But I couldn't find it. And then I got busy and haven't gone back to look again. But I'm pretty sure it was part of the press release that Disney Plus put out.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where it is. Maybe it is on there now, and I just didn't see it at the time. Maybe it came a little later. I don't know.
Maybe.
But yes, you should be able to. It used to be on Amazon Prime, because I know my kids ended up watching it maybe a year and a half ago or so. It was on there, and they had never even seen any of the actual movies, but they were really taken with the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. So
Interesting. I definitely have to check that out.
if it is there, I recommend, if you've never seen it before, I recommend finding like an order for the episodes and don't necessarily play them in the order that they probably are going to get listed, because it skips all over the place and it was kind of confusing. Kind of like what George Lucas did in those first couple of seasons of Clone Wars. Where it's like, oh, now we're going to forward, a year, and now we're going to go backwards, and now, but we're not really going to tell you we're doing these things. And so there were 3 different actors, I believe, playing Indy, and you were just kind of be moving in and out from them episode to episode. And it's episodic, but at the same time, there is a flow, so it kind of gets ruined. So yeah, I recommend trying to watch them in the order that, actually, where that flows, right? So you start with the youngest and then go forward. But that's my recommendation. You can find those lists out there online. So
we need a Spark Notes guide.
yeah, it's a little confusing. My kids were like, well, wait a minute, what happened to here? They were like in the middle of this war, and it's like, well, you got to wait a few episodes to find out what happens then. So, but it is kind of cool. He meets like every, it's the Forrest Gump. He meets every famous person from the era, and goes on all these different adventures, and all throughout history. So.
Interesting. I'll have to check it out.
So I don't want to spoil too much about what we're going to talk about, but if you were to see the new Spider-Verse movie and then you went home and you saw the end of Sister Act, it's actually a great chaser to the intensity of that movie. Like, I kid you not, like, I came home, totally shook from the movie. And then my wife was just watching Sister Act, and like the underwhelmingness and simplicity of Sister Act was like this is a great way to end my movie night. So
Sister Act. Whoopi Goldberg. What was the last thing that she was in?
please let it be her cameo in Little Rascals.
Oh man,
I forgot that she was in that movie.
I love that she's in there and Donald Trump.
Yep.
Oh, that's right.
Man, his cameos in that and what is it? Kevin McAllister, Home Alone,
Oh,
Home
Home
Alone
Alone,
2.
yeah. Right.
His cameos in those just, I mean, it's you watch that movie. I know I watched it, a couple times growing up. If you were to tell, 10-year-old me that man right there that gives, that tells, Kevin where the room is, wherever points the direction, that man was going to become president, I would say,
I would have
what's
laughed.
a president?
Yeah. Right.
But it's crazy, right? Like, that man was in Little Rascals.
That should be his billing. Like, and going up against Biden, the cameo from Little Rascals, Donald Trump.
Man. Right? And then the other defining thing of Donald Trump in my memory from growing up was when he was on WWE and he was on the battle of the billionaires between him and they like fight each other. I just remember this one clip where he tackles like Vince McMahon and he starts like fake punching him. I'm like, there's no way that's real. That's not. Oh man.
So
crazy.
Apparently, Whoopi Goldberg was in the MODOK series on Hulu. That funny, it was based on that Marvel villain MODOK.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
She plays Pound Cakes. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The more you know.
The more you know.
Anything else noteworthy in the movie or TV watching world?
Yeah, what are you guys watching?
I have been. I haven't had a ton of time to watch a whole lot, unfortunately. But I have been watching through the Apple TV Plus show The Silo, which has been kind of an interesting mystery, week to week, try to find out a little bit more of what's going on kind of a show.
Oh, yeah. I saw a trailer for it. It looked like very much a spiritual successor to Lost.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in a way, I think that's probably pretty accurate. I don't know how many episodes there's going to be. I think there's like 8 out right now, maybe 9. So they just keep putting out a new one every week, and so I've just been kind of watching that and kind of enjoying the mystery aspect of that. I'm trying to find out what's going on. It's based on some books, so I'm trying not to spoil by just going on and asking the answers to all the questions I have, but so far so good.
Well, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like Apple TV is slowly, I mean, at start it was like, oh, nobody's going to watch this, but they've slowly been building a library of must-see TV. I mean,
they can get like cool people and put them in cool situations. I don't think Netflix or Prime can do that. They can be like, oh, what would happen if Jason Segel was a cop?
Right.
And they can just pull it off. Like no one else can think like Apple does. They're like the Starbucks of computers.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? What about you, Mike? You watching anything fun?
We watched, like my wife and I, we're into Peacock shows a lot because a lot of crime, a lot of murder, a lot of whodunit. And so we watched Based on a True Story, which has the ever lovable Kaylee Kuko, can't pronounce it. And it's based on her and her husband conning this like real life serial killer into being in their podcast. So they blackmail a serial killer into saying,
What?
We
As
know
you
you're-
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And
That's
they're
why
like,
Adam's here, right?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. I got blackmailed.
Right. So so it's based on the premise that like, hey, we know you did it, so be on our podcast and tell us why you did it, and we'll become millionaires.
Mhm.
And so that's a fun premise. Kaylee, she does this thing. She like harnesses the spirit of I Love Lucy. You know, when I Love Lucy is like under pressure and she screws up and she like crosses her eyes and like puckers her lips and says, "Oh no!" Like
Yeah.
that is like the whole spirit of Kaylee Cuoco in this. And so, and the show was like it had such a great premise, but then again, it kind of like at the end of the season, it just became like they kind of dropped the whole "let's keep the podcast alive" thing, and they just made it about like trying to avoid the serial killer in the room. And they did this really like awful thing. You know how like in TV shows, like you'll see the main character will be with a bunch of people, and then like he'll do something outrageous like kiss someone or stab someone, and then someone says their name and they wake up from the trance and they're like, what? They do. You guys know that trope, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's like the wake up from a daydream, but you made the audience think it was really happening.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So they do that every episode, sometimes twice an episode. And it gets to be so obnoxious and makes so little sense that you're like, is that the director's only way to like does the director think that they're tricking us? Because by the eighth time, you're like, oh God, another one of these. No, we know that Kaylee's not really killing someone. Ever wake up.
Right.
So it's just like, I thought that was a little lame. And then like the ending is kind of lackluster, gets in the season. And you know how these shows can be filthy, so it didn't really help its case. So I reverse recommend this show.
What was it? Based on a true
story. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you for watching it, so we didn't have to.
Yes. I crawled through that so you may run away from it.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Natalie Dyer's in it.
Oh yeah, it's got a lot of fun people.
Or Natalia, sorry.
Well, and I feel like that Kaylee is in like everything now. She's got like what 4 different streaming shows and
Right.
Mm-hmm.
like, well, she has had no trouble finding work after Big Bang Theory.
Yeah,
right.
And they keep like casting her as like the ditz who's into murder or framed for murder. Like the ditzy mom, ditzy bachelorette who's like, oh, I don't know what's happening, but I love murder.
Or just is a psycho clown.
Yeah. It's a weird trope that they have tattooed to her right now.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's on like a couple of different streaming services, right? Because like the Flight Attendant and the Harley Quinn show are on Max, and then Based on the True Stories on Peacock.
But there's one other one that she's on too, and I can't remember what it's on. Where something about I haven't seen it, but the trailer made it look like it's some kind of like reliving the same first date or something over and over again. And
I saw that, and
she's crazy
with killing people in that movie too. It's like she told her agent, "I only want to be a sociopath. I want to end up like Joaquin Phoenix one day." So
That's funny. I mean, hey, at least for her work on Harley Quinn, I can give her a thumbs up. So, uh,
does she play the voice of Harley Quinn?
yeah,
Oh man, that's perfect.
yes, indeed. Well, that's good. I love hearing what people are watching. I feel like there's just, I mean, obviously there's just so much content out there, but
Mhm.
also that coupled with the impending writer strike. I mean, the writer strike's obviously still happening, but you just know that stuff is going to start taking a downhill turn if the last one was anything to
Mhm.
to warn us about. So it's good to have a backlog of stuff that's that is good. So I'm
Mhm.
curious about what people
Yeah.
are watching and stuff, especially in these troubled times.
Huge backlog, so now we can finally go back and catch up on some of these shows.
Right, right.
Mhm.
And I'm curious to see what the outcome is. I mean, the biggest or of from the writer strike, because the last time we lost things like Chuck and we lost
Yeah.
things like
So sad.
Lost and just going downhill. But I wonder what the casualties will be from this one. I mean, Disney's already delayed a bunch of their stuff directly or indirectly from the writer strike stuff. So
Mhm.
I'll be interested to see kind of how it all pans out.
As as much as I want them to be paid, because a writer deserves
Mm,
all the work they put into it.
100%.
Mhm.
I do want the movie studios to get so desperate that they ask like geeks like me who write fanfics, like begging us to like, oh, you guys have to save us. We'll pay you $30,000 a year, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, a raise.
Right.
Right?
They're never that desperate though. Like
No.
they could go to fanfic.org at any time and find the next writer.
Yeah, no, they they never get that desperate, Mike.
Yes, my break will never come.
Right?
Hmm.
Well, maybe if they get desperate enough, maybe they'll come to us for our Star Wars featured section right now and maybe shoot some of our ideas.
So, what's more fun than complaining about Star Wars, but putting our money where our mouth is and
Yes.
actually telling you what Star Wars should look like?
Mm.
So, I've tasked all three of us with coming up with a Star Wars movie that you want to see,
Yes.
be it a spin
All
off
right.
or be it part of a new trilogy.
Mm.
Um, I know there's a lot of places, there's a whole novel universe of
Yeah.
Star Wars dating back from Knights of the Old Republic all the way to things that are past the new trilogies. And I mean, we could build a whole podcast based on the canon of Star Wars that was never used.
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
I've decided we're going to add more canon and see where that takes us. So who would like to go first?
Ooh. I don't know. I feel like it's only right that one of us between you and me, Mike, goes first. I
Yeah.
have my idea locked and loaded. I don't know if you want me to go first. Do you want to go first, Mike? I
Um,
don't.
yeah, let me go first because I stole the show when I went last,
Mm.
with my Marvel thing. And
Yeah,
like
I mean,
I have showrunners like calling me and emailing me like, when is this gonna come out? You know, and I'm just like, I'm sorry guys. It's just a great idea. Stop throwing money at me. And so my idea was Chewbacca the Savage Years. So one thing that irritates me about Star Wars, and you can correct me, but Chewbacca's fierceness has always been a tell, don't show.
mm,
He's always been told. We've always been told he rips limbs off and heads off, but we never see it due to the PG-13 listing. So, what about a series or a movie where Chewbacca it shows his years before meeting Han Solo. You know, he's 200 years old according to canon, so he had to be in wars. He had to do some savage things to earn the title of being like a monster that'll eat you and destroy you if you lose to chess.
Right.
Right.
So, you know, this is going to be the all show, don't tell version of Chewbacca.
Oh.
You know, the adventures of young Chewbacca, whatever you want to call it, the savage years. This is going to be him in some serious wars. You're going to see him rip off limbs. It's not just going to be him with the bowcaster. I always thought that was not an appropriate weapon for him. He should have like a rocket launcher at least.
Okay.
He's going to get into minor smuggling. And I did my homework. I looked at some pre-trilogy villains.
Okay.
And I found that there's like a space Viking.
Oh.
Like a space pirate Vikings called the Nihil.
Okay.
And
I think it's Nihil.
Nihil. Thank you.
Yes.
See, I'm so glad I invited you on here.
Yes, they are the kind of the current villains of the. I'm trying to remember what they're calling it now too, because I can't say that I've gotten through all the books. They're still in the middle of it, but it's kind of like 100. Yeah,
the High Republic or something.
High Republic era, where it's kind of supposed to be the golden age of the Jedi. I think it's 100 years or so before the prequels.
Right. So we have this young Chewbacca, and we have this evil space pirate Viking named Martian Rowe, who, in the plot goes like this. It's about a legacy vehicle or vessel called the Legacy Run. It explodes in space. All its pieces fly all over the galaxy, causing danger to planets. Chewbacca, a dishonorably discharged gun for hire, is hired to guide the Jedi to dangerous planets and find the missing cargo before it gets into the wrong hands. So Chewbacca would not have a speaking role, but he'd be surrounded by like such great talent that'll make him seem like he's the star. So like I'm not afraid to like really mess with how people look at Jedi. Like, what if he befriends a Jedi like that's part of the search party that's played by, Seth Green, or Seth Rogen. I'm thinking of all the Seths, but
I'm sure Seth Green would actually really like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Or his name escapes me, but he played the fourth Batman and Robin.
Clooney.
Clooney as seems like he would pull off Jedi, and he's looking for work.
Right.
So I would just love to see Chewbacca in his natural element. No more hiding behind PG. Keep it family friendly. It would still be TV-14, but it would be modern TV-14 where you see limbs fall off.
I mean, with all the limbs that were taken off in the original trilogy, that was the one way we didn't get a limb, I think, being removed.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Somehow it's okay when a lightsaber does it, but not the Wookiee.
Right. When the Wookiee does a German suplex on a stormtrooper, and I think people will cheer. It'll become a meme, a GIF, and they'll be singing the praises that Mike Mordanga brought back the original heart of Star Wars.
There we go.
Original heart of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Removing limbs. Now we know why the Wookiees. You should always let the Wookiee win.
Yes.
Yeah.
That'll be the tagline. Now you know why you should let the Wookiee win.
That's great.
Chewbacca, Savage Years.
That's great.
I'm getting Cocaine Bear vibes.
Oh, I think I'm going to get the same director.
Except it's, I don't know, what do they call it in Star Wars? Death Sticks? Is that what it is?
Death Sticks Wookiee. That's an episode.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Well done. All right, so am I going next then?
Sure, if you would like.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I played a little more straight arrow. This is a little more what I would have liked to see post original trilogy, even post prequel trilogy, for kind of bringing the gang back together, kind of a movie. So I think that is the biggest issue that I have with the sequel trilogy, is just that missed opportunity of bringing the gang all back together again. So, in my movie, I think it would have been cool to have done it live action, but given circumstances, I think animation would work really well still. And it's the story of some of the adventures that the original gang. You got Luke and Leia, Han, Chewbacca. You got Lando, and Nine Num. No, I'm just kidding. He's not with them, but they're going on these adventures, and helping Luke track down these clues through these Sith and Jedi artifacts that he's finding. And throughout the movie or trilogy of movies, it's kind of leading further and further backwards in time, to the point that they discover that the rule of two that the Sith set up was just a sect of the Sith. The main Sith still exists, and it all culminates with a huge battle, Jedi versus Sith battle, right? And so it's set further enough that Luke has already started a new Jedi Order. So you got some Jedi, and but you also have these huge Sith armies, right? And so you're gonna have to have more than just the Jedi fighting, right? And so the New Republic, you can bring in Mando, all the Mandalorians, whoever you want to bring in, right? And it's just this epic battle against the Sith armies that have been building up for thousands of years. So there we go. I just want to see. Ideally, it'd be really awesome to be able to see it like a Lord of the Rings style battle, right? Of just all these Sith versus all the armies of the Republic, or the people living at that time.
No, I think that's what I loved the most about the original trilogy, was how they were able to portray just grandness on a scale, with the practical effects, and just being like, oh wow, like, that's a Star Destroyer. That's, that you can see the scale of that compared to, like, an X-Wing fighter, or the comparison of like the Death Star to like all these things. So I'd love to see like you were saying, like a pitched battle. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
especially with the I think the closest thing that we've got. I mean, obviously with Clone Wars and stuff like that, but that being a little bit more CGI. But I'd love to see it more in a practical effects sort of way, like, especially judged on the last season of The Mandalorian, where they're doing those battles between the Mandalorians and the the, I don't know what you want to call the
Remnants,
Empires. Yeah, those guys, like, yeah, especially if it can be like that, but just like multiplied on an even bigger scale. Like, I'm all for that.
Yes. I just like the idea of bringing the past back in, forward into the present, so to speak. And of course you gotta just being able to get everybody back together. And in the Millennium Falcon, and leading these, you got space battles and ground battles going on, just this epic battle.
You see, you sparked my interest when you said Lord of the Rings ish, because it made me want like an ancient and even longer ago story of Star Wars, where like the lightsaber is just being invented by like a tribe,
Right.
Yeah.
and then like figuring out what that means, like and them just discovering what the Force is. Like I think that would be hot.
We might get that movie. That's actually sounds like the Dawn of the Jedi movie that we might possibly, hopefully, if Lucasfilm can actually get a movie put together here, without it falling apart. The one that what's his name? James, the guy doing the new Indiana Jones, who also did Logan. Mangold. Yeah, he's supposed to be doing a Dawn of the Jedi movie here. So you might get your wish. It's supposed to be like discovering of the Force and everything.
I might give that a chance.
So you might get that. I think that would be great, and I think it would be really cool if they tied that somehow into the other newer movie that's supposed to be about Rey and the new Jedi Order. I don't know what you want to call it at this point.
Right.
Like if they could like somehow tie it together, that's what I'm saying. Bringing the past together with the with the future in some way, like where it's telling like this epic story in two different eras, but are still connected.
Yeah, no, I think that's great, and I mean that's what we love about the Force, right? It just connects everything, right?
That's right.
And it repeats itself. Yeah, I'm excited. I think that rightly or wrongly, I think a lot of the stories that are being told are kind of centered around like the same sort of like 20 to 50 year period. And even like the games and stuff, which are so great. But even the new Star Wars game coming out, what is it? I forgot what it's called. That Sony just announced.
The
Outlaws, yeah.
Outlaws, yeah.
Which is like super cool, and I hope that they take a lot from like 1313 and like that canceled project. But I was talking to my friend about it, and he was like, he's a massive Star Wars fan, and he was like, he's looking forward to it, but he's like, I want to see stuff from other decades, other eras, and even just the peek back with the story about like Ahsoka and the stories with Dooku as a younger Jedi, like that's stuff
the
people
Tales
want.
of the Jedi stuff.
Yeah, super cool.
I hope we get a lot more of that.
For sure.
Yeah. Does anyone remember? It was a Game Boy game, but it's called Yoda's Stories.
No, whoa.
Basically, it's Yoda telling the story of like Luke's other adventures. And you play like this chibi Luke, and you walk around forests and solve puzzles. And it also came out for DOS, but
Okay.
I hear it's known as one of the worst Star Wars games.
Which is why you love it.
Which is why I have to play it now.
Now I want to. Like, I gotta track this down. This is what came out for Game Boy too?
Yeah, it's Game Boy Color, and it's an RPG basically. Where
I'm going to be tracking this game down.
Yeah, Luke slices up trees to solve puzzles.
All right. Wow. I need to track this down.
You call yourself a Star Warsian.
I missed this one. Wow. I'm gonna track this down, and I will update everybody in Discord when I do. This is gonna happen, and if I find it, I will play it on stream. That is my promise to you.
Yeah, I am definitely going to find a link.
That's great.
If you're into the whole ROM thing, there are websites that did the code of the game.
But now I feel like I must own this.
I'm sure you can get it for a nickel.
I found I found the Wikipedia page for it. I'm sharing it to
And by a nickel, I mean
Mike.
$225 in box.
Yeah, that's
Sealed.
not gonna happen. I'm sure.
And $24.99 outside of the box.
Well, I can handle that a little better.
Yeah.
The advertising on it says quick, challenging fun for all ages and skill levels. AKA I'll probably get frustrated and not be able to figure it out. And then
Okay, it looks like I could pick it up on Macari for like $15. So
that's not bad. That's not bad at
Hey,
all.
jump on
it's
that.
it's going to happen. It's
Do you
going
have
to
a-
happen.
Do you have an original Game Boy Color?
I do not have a Game Boy Color, but I don't ever know what happened to my Game Boy Color. It's one of those things that kind of just disappeared. But I do have a Game Boy Advance that plays them, and I have the Game Boy
good.
Operator, which allows you to put in your cartridges into it, and then you play it right on your computer from the
Mhm.
cartridge. So it'll make it easy to stream that way.
You want this in the glorious 12 colors.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course. That's so great. Okay.
Yeah, this is
friends.
happening. This is happening.
I love this. That's so great.
Speaking of obscure, like
Mm.
Star Wars stuff, so basically there's a children's Star Wars show. that I
Yeah.
keep seeing as YouTube ads, like they learn about sharing and caring, and
I think it's called like Younglings or something.
Yeah.
younglings, and Yoda helps them. Like the guy who survived Order 66 is helping children learn how to share.
I don't know that I will be watching that unless like somehow they can convince me that it's canon. And then I might feel compulsed to do it. But yeah.
Maybe some of those kids survived Order 66. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
right. Well, we get an increasingly number of Jedi who seem to have survived, so maybe.
Right. Every year, there's more and more that survive. Yeah,
Every time they're like, "Hey, remember there was this other guy too you didn't know about? Yeah, he got away too."
every time it's convenient.
That's right.
Right? Oh my gosh. Oh well.
Wait, it's trending on Google. Is Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures canon?
Oh, is it?
According to Distractify, it's set 200 years before the events of the Phantom Menace. Okay, so no tragedies.
So maybe the High Republic time.
Yeah, it has fans. If it wondering if it's canon, it follows 3 siblings. They're cute. Let's see. Every bit of promotional material from the series appears to give the indication that it is, in fact, adhering to canonical details of a galaxy far, far away. Hey.
So now, if we don't watch it, we're going to be confused. Some movie coming up, and we're going to be like, "How did those Jedi learn to share?"
Yeah,
like
Tell
it doesn't
us,
make
please.
any sense.
I feel like
Somebody.
Mandalorian season 4, they're going to be like, "You should have seen Young Jedi Adventure season, like episode 6."
They're gonna find a holocron. He's gonna have to like learn how to say his ABCs.
Yeah.
The best part is the holocron is going to be in the animation style.
Yeah, right.
Straight from it.
Right.
I want to see the fact where like Grogu like binge watches this and whenever he gets the tablet.
That's how he learns to talk finally.
Yes.
Exactly. He's just in the back of his dad's Naboo starfighter, just
watching this and learning all his skills, and he's like, "Hey, that guy looks just like me."
Yeah, right. It's canon. Grogu is an iPad kid.
Yes. They're like, okay, you've done enough of your Jedi homework or your Mando homework. You can have 12 minutes of Young Jedi Adventure.
Wow, this is when Disney Plus really jumps the shark. They got to advertise. Right. They got to advertise for the other projects within the projects.
Exactly.
Since it's like 250 years, like it's considered a classic. Like it's free on one of those like one of those old streaming shows.
There's a Pluto station. Just it's
Yeah.
all just Jedi
Yeah.
and
That's funny.
Jedi adventures.
I want to see this now.
Yeah.
That's unfair. Okay, fellas, are you guys ready for mine?
Are we ever?
Oh, speaking
Absolutely,
of,
bring it.
let's do it. Speaking of video games, probably my favorite video game series out of Star Wars starts with Star Wars Dark Forces. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yes.
But it features Kyle Kataran,
Yeah.
Katan. That's it. And man, I love not only the game specifically. I love the second one that was released in the one in 2002. I think it's Jedi Outcast. That was my favorite. I think out of the series, just because I got it on GameCube and I was just like, oh wow, this is cool. But I think if I want to make a movie, and I think eventually you're gonna branch out into the other games. But yeah, I think you got to start with Dark Forces and just a quick run through of the plot. Kyle starts off as he's the classic story, right? He's in the Empire. He gets converted, to the Republic side, and but he kind of spends some time in between fully converting as a smuggler. And he kind of, as he discovers more and more secrets about the Empire, the more he realizes, the more he has to fight for. And then he kind of unlocks some, family secrets. He finds, oh, like his dad is actually a Jedi. He kind of, begins to mature his Jedi powers, and and as the games kind of go on, he even becomes, the second in command to Luke Skywalker, in the Jedi Temple, and training up the new Jedi and stuff like that, to the point where he kind of takes on one of my favorite characters, and certainly one of the most underutilized characters, Mara Jade. He trains her, and I think she's a character in, I think, the sequel to Dark Forces. But yeah, so the first one, the game Dark Forces, is about Kyle kind of discovering the Galactic Empire's secret Dark Trooper project. And what's really cool about this one is the game is you run through the gamut of the who's who in the underworld. Like there's a bunch of plot points that have to deal with Jabba the Hutt, and then there's some plot points of you have to fight Boba Fett, and there's even a great kind of ending battle with the villain in Dark Trooper armor. And yeah, so I just think that there's a good kind of baseline story that in a time frame that I think that there's not a whole ton of media out about. And I even did a bit of fan casting, but yeah, I just love I love the story. But I think the only road bump in this one is, I think that there are a lot of like similar stories kind of being told already. I think a lot of the stuff in The Mandalorian with like the Dark Troopers has been, the storylines have been used by that. And then, of course, I mean, just the rewriting of, Luke and how he's treated and how he's rebuilt the Jedi Order. So I think that I don't know if this could necessarily be a canon story, but I would love to see it as like a TV show or a movie, kind of,
That would be awesome.
an elsewhere sort of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Adam, who's that Kyle character you keep mentioning? What's his last name?
Kataran.
Kataran?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so apparently there's a PSP and a DS game called Star Wars Lethal Alliance, where he's in. You play as Rihanna Saren. Oh wait, Tuailakanka Rihanna Saren. You play a mercenary who's hired by Kyle Katar, but that's not the right Kyle. There's another Kyle, to penetrate a warehouse at the planet Coruscant. And this game was like a drop in the bucket, but it's got a lot of well-known characters in it, including Kyle Katarn.
Yeah.
Has anyone?
he was in a lot of games, and then they kind of brought him into some of the books too in the New Jedi. I think it was the New Jedi Order time frame.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I even thought about, because I was like, oh man, who am I gonna cast, and who would I put in? So I mean, for the first one, and I mean, I love this guy. I think he's on a bit of a hot streak. I love Aaron Taylor Johnson for the role. I think he'd be perfect. He's kind of got the rugged good looks. I think he can handle the action. And if you guys haven't seen the Craven trailer that dropped today, he's definitely got the body, and he's definitely got the action chops, I think, to kind of bring a physicalness to the role. So I think you'd be great. And then I think you got to nail the female lead, Jan Ors, and I love Naomi Scott for it. She played Jasmine in the live action remake of Aladdin. I think she's perfect. And then I was like, I also gotta, just for me, I got a fan cast Mara Jade, because
There you go.
I love that character so much. I think she's great. She's a really good foil for Luke Skywalker, and I think that's why they make such a great team. And the fact that they haven't brought her, even within canon, even a little bit, it's just so sad and disappointing to me. But I think, man, I think that there's a couple of good choices. I think Karen Gillian has, could do it. I mean, obviously she can handle the action based on her stuff with Marvel. Also, I really like Madeline Petch. She was in the Riverdale. I mean, both great young actresses, but I think, if I was to make this movie, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I think Jessica Chastain would be perfect for it.
Yes.
But I think we want to go. So any of those three are really great, and yeah, I mean, come on, Disney, make something with Mara Jade. She's just so cool.
Supposedly, the character never really made it past the books or in video games initially. The rumor is that George Lucas hated the character. And
It's such a shame.
It's kind of been a thing, whether or not that's completely accurate or not, I don't really know. But It seems like, yeah, man, it would be great. It would be great. And, any of the, as a side kind of thing, any of the, as an extension of your movie too, I'd love to see them do any of the actual Heir to the Empire stuff.
Yeah.
Even as a trilogy of elsewhere kind of, what if, would just be phenomenal.
Right? Absolutely. And there's so much cool stuff. Right?
There's articles talking about how she could be introduced in The Mandalorian. And am I reading this right? She's considered a villain?
She was initially a villain because she was a hand of the Empire, or Emperor, I mean.
Yeah.
So she was basically she was the Emperor's right hand, so to speak. But like as a kind of a secret thing, right? And so you didn't know, but she was there all along. I think they wrote her into, like, she was in disguise and at Jabba's palace during Return of the Jedi and all sorts of stuff. They kind of retconned a bunch of stuff, and then she eventually ended up coming over to the good side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
sure, yeah. Think of like Asajj Ventress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If we're...
I think that there, if we were going to see her, you could even see her with the Thrawn stuff coming up in Ahsoka or something like that. If they're going to introduce her, and that would work still.
Mm-hmm. So apparently, she was a character in Return of the Jedi radio drama, which I had no idea.
Yeah, that's the thing where she was at Jabba's palace, I believe, in disguise.
Was she always like, was Luke married to this person between?
Eventually, yes.
Revenge of the, or is this how he met her? Like he's like, "Ooh, I saw you at Jabba's palace. Do you want a date?"
No, they meet each other during the Heir to the Empire trilogy, and that's how they kind of end up. She's a foil at first, and then eventually in the books they do get married and have a kid. I think they just have one.
Ben
And-
Skywalker.
Ben.
Yes, Ben. Yep, and then who? Yeah, I won't get into it because it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. But yeah,
I'm ready
They-
for
they
this
do
journey. Okay, imagine a sitcom with Luke Skywalker, Mara Jade, raising Ben,
Mm.
and having the next door neighbor could be Yoda. Or the ghost Yoda.
the Ghost
Ghost
Yoda,
Yoda.
right?
Force Ghost Yoda.
Mhm.
That's great.
Yeah, he's always poking into their business. The
Yeah.
nosy neighbor stereotype.
Right.
Mow
Right.
your lawn, you should. You know?
Oh,
Oh,
man.
ghost Yoda.
Oh man. And I mean, not that Ray needs, any more tearing down because I think, her and she's gotten enough flack, but it's to me, at least personally, it's just so frustrating because there are so many awesome, complex female characters
Yeah.
in the Star Wars universe. And if they even
Mhm.
just took a little bit of inspiration from some of them and put them into Ray, like it would have been,
Or-
it would have
Or
been
how about
make
this? Like,
at least a little bit more interesting.
just take what the novels already made. The novels have made 1,000 movies. And-
Right.
But Disney always has to say, I did this.
Yeah.
You know, it's not some loser who wrote a book.
Right. For sure. But yeah, no, I loved everybody's suggestions, and I think that's the saddest part about when we do these, Mike, is that we'll never get to see them unless one of us makes it big and gets a bunch of money. Then we'll.
Now that we have Shannon, Lucas listens to us because we get 25 listens, and they can't all be Fred's.
Yeah, some of them might be Lucas's.
Some of them might be Lucas, and now that he knows that Shannon approves,
Right.
he's going to be like, okay, now I know that this is not such a risk
Right.
because a true fan approved these. So
Right. That's what I'm saying. But man, as much as there are some disappointments, it's just such a great time to be a Star Wars fan right now. I think, which
Absolutely.
is the content that's coming out, and it's easy. I think it's easy to kind of poke holes in it, but I mean, at the end of the day, the 70s Star Wars was just as goofy, just as weird, and you gotta take it with a grain of salt, and you just gotta sit back and enjoy it.
Absolutely.
you know who was amazing at taking it with a grain of salt? The
Hmm.
Lego universe. They knew how to respect and make fun of Star Wars at the same time.
That is true.
100%.
If I ever need to remind myself what the movies were like, I just play the games. You know?
Yeah,
like-
the people that do the Lego games, they have such a respect for the original material, and they do such a good
Mhm.
job of adapting it. I truly am always blown away.
Mm.
100%.
And like to this day, I still maintain that the Lego Batman movie is a top 5 Batman movie.
I hate how true that is and how my feelings accept that.
I never would have thought of that until you said it, and now, yeah,
Right?
it's true.
I
Right?
love that the Lego movie is canon too. It fits into the universe.
Yeah, it's possible. And yeah, they do whoever Lego, great job. Good job. We love you.
Right. Adam, if I may pull an audible.
Yeah, let's do it.
We have 15 more minutes
Yeah.
of this podcast. Let's keep Shannon on and just keep talking
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Yeah, I want to keep talking Star Wars.
We were like folks at home, we were gonna scare him away and just start yelling out spoilers. To
Spoilers?
movies. Like, Titanic, it sinks.
What? No.
I know stuff like that. Kaiser Soze was the other guy.
Oh man.
We were going to do that originally, but
Yeah.
I think he should stay on, and
Yeah.
our lines are open if you disagree. But
Awesome.
Because-
Well, great.
yeah. Okay, so hear me out.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Lego hasn't made a Star Wars movie, but they
Sure,
could.
yeah.
And no one would disagree with them. No one would fight with them. It could be a reality if Lego said, "Hey, we want a shot at this."
Sure.
I mean,
And-
they've made the Lego the TV specials,
Yeah, the
Right.
Christmas
Star
special.
Wars TV specials, so
Hilarious.
which are
Right.
great. Yeah, can't recommend them enough.
So this would introduce humor, which is something Star Wars has always struggled with, and it would be lighthearted,
Yes,
And-
yes.
and it would actually be kind of visually appealing because Lego does a really good job with that.
Mm.
So I'm wondering what a Lego version of Star Wars the movie would look like.
Oh.
Well, first of all, do they speak? Or are we going the original ones where they just kind of grunt?
I think they do. I mean, you have to pay actors.
All right. Well, I was thinking maybe we could get around the writer's strike, maybe.
Yeah, it
Well-
could just be our hands moving the pieces.
Yeah.
We'll say this is a world where the writers are being paid a fair and livable wage.
Okay. All right. Good.
Or they went to fanfic.net
Right.
and found
Right.
me.
Exactly. Man, I love that. And I think you have to do a trilogy, right? Like that's what Star Wars is. It's
Yeah.
a trilogy. So it's got to be 3 of them. But what is it a retread of Skywalker? What do you guys
Well,
think?
first of all, I'm working backwards, Adam.
Oh,
I'm trying to figure out what's going to bring the kids in. And
Mm.
I can think of no one better than Miranda Cosgrove as
what?
Miranda Cosgrove, the person of iCarly, right?
Yes.
Kids love her. Teenagers
Sure.
respect her.
Sure.
She's the one reason we still watch Nickelodeon, maybe. I don't know.
What? What? Okay.
Am I wrong? Am I out of tune, or is
I
Miranda
don't-
Cosgrove not cool anymore?
I don't know what the kids watch, so I don't know. Maybe.
Kids love Bluey.
Okay, well, I have that actor in mind too.
Okay, perfect.
But maybe Miranda Cosgrove as Princess Leia or Jade Mara.
Yeah, Marjade.
Margie.
Mara Jade, yep.
Sorry, continue.
That was. See, I'm working backwards, so now you can talk about the plot. Just keep in mind, Miranda Cosgrove is going to play whatever female role you decide on.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Man, wow. Yeah, I don't know the easy answer is just like the Skywalker trilogy, like doing one of the Skywalker, either a prequel or a sequel, but I don't know if we want to just retread, that well-trodden ground. I mean, do we go High Republic? But the problem is I don't know enough characters from that time. I don't know.
No, I really think there's a lot unsaid between the old sequel and the new sequel or the new trilogy. So you could totally have Skywalker getting married, having a family. This is the family of the Skywalkers trying to live a normal life.
That might work for the Lego.
Yeah,
The Legos. Yeah,
Lego could get away with it where
so much.
Disney would not be angry at them.
I mean, do we go just full hog and just hit it out of the park and just be like, we're doing Revan? There it is, Lego
There you
Revan.
go. Yep.
Yep.
Just he's going on a rampage, killing all the other Sith. But of course, it's Lego style, so they're just
Right.
falling apart
Into pieces.
into pieces.
Oh man, right?
Well, I've got an idea here. It's a little
Okay,
out there,
okay.
but
Okay.
hang with me here, Matt.
I'm ready.
We find out that the true hero, we're going to follow the true hero
Mm,
of the ages here.
yeah.
We find out that really Kidster is the chosen one. So Kidster was Anakin's friend in episode 1 there. And we find out he was actually the chosen one, but was overlooked by Qui-Gon, right?
Mhm.
And so he actually is you find out he's been behind the scenes manipulating things to get his revenge
Mm-hmm.
all along.
Mhm.
So you think the Emperor is the Phantom Menace, but it's actually Kidster all this time.
Ah,
I love that. Oh man, that all the scenes of like that little gang of people on Tatooine bring me so much joy.
Yep.
Like when they're in the pod racer, it's my favorite thing. It's my favorite quote when they get it working and he just shouts, "It's working! It's working!" It's my favorite line in Star Wars.
Lucas wrote that line.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
100%.
for sure.
It's
He wrote
working.
He wrote it for his kids though, so I give it a
100%.
pass.
Mhm.
You know,
100%.
but
100%. No, I love that. I think that's
yes.
great.
And so then
I-
at the end, he takes his rightful spot as the new
Oh.
ruler of the universe, and he looks down at Vader's body and he says, "Now that's wizard. That's so wizard, Anakin."
It's
Played by Miranda Cosgrove.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I was supposed to have her in there.
adult Kidster.
Miranda Cosgrove could have been Anakin's mom. There we go.
Yeah, she.
I got her in there.
Yeah, perfect.
I love that. I love the life of Brian sort of thing going on.
That's exactly what I was going for. I love it.
That's so good. Oh man, that's
You-
really great.
You know what actor is like made? His voice is made for Lego characters. Zachary Levi.
Yeah, I could see
Him
that.
See that?
feels like a cartoon character, and having him be like the Luke in whatever we shoot, he would just be such a funny Luke, like just kind of nervous energy, but like also confident that he saved the world.
Right. Well, I also love the idea because like even like this is why he's perfect in Shazam because he just kind of nails the I'm an adult but I like have the confidence of a kid.
Yeah,
Like
Yes.
that's why he's perfect for being a Lego character.
yeah, right.
I also think that there needs to be a lovable droid companion, and I mean I can think of no bigger punching bag that needs a redemption arc than a Gonk droid. And keeping in line with his past acting experience, Vin Diesel would be perfect because all he has to say,
donk.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So we pay Vin Diesel, full price for the three movies for him
He's
just
the
to say
highest paid
Gonk.
actor.
Yeah, for him just to say Gonk.
And then
I
the
love it.
last scene, he says, "I love you guys," and we realize that we speak Gonk now.
Yeah, family.
Oh gosh!
It writes itself, man. I'm
It
telling
does.
you. Now, I
Now
wanna see
we
this.
we haven't decided on the base as yet, but who would be the villain? Like,
oh yeah,
I mean, I guess it's the Kickster.
yeah.
But Lego would try to incorporate like a Jar Jar character, or would like they put Jar Jar in to like make him the butt of the jokes, and maybe
right,
say, "Guys, Misa a Sith now." And
right. And
Let's see here.
I feel like a lot of the characters that are, background characters that don't really get, a lot of screen time, but are kind of like fan favorites, I feel like would also make up, the cast of characters in this. Like, I would love for Bosk to like to get in on the action and just be like a character somehow, replacing Boba Fett, is the feared bounty
right.
hunter, or mm,
Okay, Jabba the Hutt has that annoying squawking bird sidekick. What if he replaces Jabba the Hutt?
Salacious Crumb.
Yes.
All right. This would be
Mm.
good then, but we need a really good voice for this.
Oh
though,
yeah.
too. And we're gonna go out of left field here again.
Mm.
I'd like to consider casting Norm Macdonald, but Norm Macdonald as he did Burt Reynolds in the Saturday Night Live Celebrity Jeopardy.
Oh wow. Wow. I think that would work.
Second
It would
Trebek.
also prove we could resurrect.
Right. Unfortunately, I know that he passed away, but
We'll just Chat GPT voice deep fake him.
Right.
It'll be fine.
Right. We did.
just that deadpan comedy though is what I'm
right?
after, and nobody did it better.
Especially when he
that.
says, "Call me Turd Skywalker."
That's right.
So, I'm looking up the obscure Star Wars characters, and I want you to tell me if you know any of these. First, this guy looks like a walking pickle, and he's holding zombie heads. His name is Amana Man?
No idea.
No? Okay. Moving on. There's Squid Head Tessic. Anyone? No?
I mean, the Squid Head, I've never heard of it as an actual name. I know that's what they actually called a lot of the aliens before they had names, like that were given, in canon through books and role playing games and stuff like that. That's the kind of names they would call the aliens on set. So Walrus Man, Squid Head,
Anda Baba.
Yep,
Walrus Man.
Yep, exactly. So that's just what they called them. And I remember hearing an interview that somebody did with the, I can't remember who it was now. One of the original actors. Yeah, probably Mark Hamill. And they were talking about these, and he's like, who are you talking about? We didn't have those names. We just called them like Squid Head and Walrus Man and things like that. So yeah, but I've never heard of it as an actual name.
Yeah,
You say Prune Face?
There's a Prune Face.
Yes, Prune Face.
Isn't that a Dick Tracy villain?
No, I know about this because they reference it on Robot Chicken. He's like he's like an alien with like, and I'm sorry for the graphic image, but he's just like kind of like his head kind of looks like a scrotum, and he's got like an eye patch.
Yes.
And he's like in half a frame in like New Hope or something. But they reference him in the Robot Chicken Star Wars, and they make him into like this like John Wick-esque like bounty hunter. And they call him, he's like, if you need help, call Prune Face. And it's so good.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at a picture now. Okay. Yep,
Okay.
Now I see it. Although to be fair, there is a Prune Face as a Dick Tracy villain too. Just saying.
Okay, that is true. What if there was a band, a making of the band, Star Wars style? Cy Snoodles and the Rebo Band?
Excellent.
If it's about the history of how they came together, how they made it big, their first gig, how Max Rebo turns on the band and goes to a life of drinking.
Wasn't Max Rebo is a different band though, isn't it? Wasn't Snice Doodles the one that was in Return of the Jedi? Yeah, on the skiff.
Oh
yeah,
and which you find out somehow they survived because they were in they were in an episode of Boba Fett show, I
Yeah.
believe. And then that place got blown up. So who knows if they survived again?
I
Oh,
thought these
man.
guys were or maybe
But
they're two separate bands.
I'd love it if they were like rival bands, though.
Yeah.
You have some kind of like battle of the bands finale.
Yeah, right. My favorite is that the Cantina band. The lead singer guy, his name is Finger and Dan.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So yeah,
Oh,
basically,
and the worst part is that the music style that they play, and this is canon, it's not called space jazz, it's called jizz.
oh,
Like
gosh,
that's what it's called.
I hope that guy got fired. Who wrote that?
It was George Lucas.
Oh,
Like that's what it is canonically called.
Oh man.
It's so bad.
okay, I have some more obscure characters to run by you. The pod racer Dud Bolt, which is a clever play on Deadbolt. Oh, well, that's great. Co Bibble from the Phantom Menace.
The name sounds vaguely familiar, but I can't place a picture of what he looks like.
No governor inspires more authority than the man named Bibble.
Yeah, isn't he the one that was like, he was kind of the cowardly guy. He was part of Amidala's crew, I believe.
Oh yeah,
and he was
George
kind of.
yeah. He does look like him.
What about Shumai, which is my favorite pork-filled dumpling, but also a separatist, part of the Separatist Council.
Okay.
Sweet Conquerkill? Senator Conquerkill enjoyed the privilege of attending an operatic performance of Squid Lake. These are all... Yeah. Lotha Samover, The Last Jedi. An unnamed on-screen and only appearing in a deleted scene. Originally dubbed as Slug Lady.
All right.
Wow.
I mean, these are just dying to be Lego characters.
That's right.
Right?
Ooh, Gafurky Lenswin Solo? Gafurky Lenswin, part of the Solos.
So that must have been before we took away the Solo backstory.
Yeah.
Original backstory, and just made it because the guy's like, well, you have to have a last name.
Right?
All right, but everyone knows if Lego made a movie based on the life of Jack Porkins from birth to death.
Oh man,
Poor Porkins.
Poor Porkins, indeed. Oh,
I mean,
man.
his parents doomed him. The moment they named him Porkins,
It was over. It was.
What if they were like a popular fried snack company? Open a bag of Porkins. And he's like, Mom, I want to be a space fighter.
Us Porkins have never left.
Yes, son, you need to stay on target with your food franchise.
On target.
all I can think about is his Lego character, Jet Porkins. His character being voiced by Andy Samberg, a la Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. When he plays Brent or whatever, the little baby, the former the logo for the sardine factory or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Andy Samberg's character in Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Been a while since I've seen it, but yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. That'd be good. I'd take it.
Oh man.
There's a lot of made-up characters that Lego already made in the Star Wars universe, like the
Oh.
female Yoda, Yaddle.
No,
okay,
she's
actually,
real.
yeah, she's real. She's in episode 1.
Oh,
Mhm.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's on
sitting
the
on the
Jedi Council. Yeah.
And she's in an episode of something that Disney Plus just put out.
The Young
Right?
Adventures. No.
I
Yeah, I feel like we did just see her recently again. Was she? She wasn't in the flashback, right? Of it during Mandalorian, right? I don't think so.
no.
Okay, now I gotta look it up because yeah, we did just see her in something. Maybe she was in the Jedi Tales of the Jedi or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Yoda
Yaddle.
stories.
Yeah. Exactly. Man. But yeah, no, there's just and that's what's really awesome about Star Wars and of course, like at the end of the day it's gonna be about the Rebel Alliance versus the Empire and all that stuff. But like what's so great about Star Wars is just the depth and the breadth that you can nothing is
Mm-hmm. Right, and I feel like the novels get that. Like they feel more free and open to talk about like weird things, like spaceships exploding and their parts destroying planets. Well, I feel like the movies are kind of stuck in this, evil bad guy king starts army against good guy king. Now we need to find some people in the margins who have special powers.
Yeah. All right, so just to wrap up the conversation about Yaddle, she was in Tales of the Jedi, and she was voiced by no one else but Bryce Dallas Howard in that cartoon.
Thought for sure you were going to say Miranda Cosgrove.
that would have been a great way to wrap it all up, but no.
6 degrees of Miranda Cosgrove. Really, that's the youngest actress/actor I can think of right now. It's the only reason why I brought her up. But
30 something now.
I
yeah.
was gonna say, is she even acting anymore?
Well, she's in a new season of iCarly.
Isn't the show still going on?
Yeah, she's
it's a
getting married in
reboot.
the series. It's a very serious show now. It's not silly anymore, which is sad.
It's a bit of
Wow.
a reboot.
Yeah. You think after you get a DS game, your show's not that serious. But speaking of serious, I think that concludes our Star Wars talk for June.
Yeah.
And I'm
This
so
was a lot
happy
of fun
to drag Shannon in with us.
I appreciate it.
Yes.
I want to ask the audience, how many times did you want to yell, I would support that on GoFundMe?
Or how much they would pay to make sure it never occurred.
Right.
It's a travesty.
All right. But anyways, thank you so much, Shannon. Is there anything you want to you want to pitch? How can people hear or see more of you?
Yeah, sure. I do some first look videos for the Nintendo dads. So those come out from time to time of some Switch games. And then I do some streaming. It's been real slow lately. But now that it's summer, I hope to pick that back up a little bit. And it's usually retro games, so it kind of fits in with the retro logic. And I have traditionally tried to find games that are really weird, obscure, maybe people don't know about as much, or games that people are aware of but don't necessarily have the best reputation. And those are the games I like to try to find and stream. Kind of like those seem to be the kind of movies you like to try to track down and watch.
Yeah.
Which is
So-
great.
Yep. Other than that, I'm on the Discord, Spidershan. You can reach out there. I don't really do any other social media of any kind, so that's about it.
Nice.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, he is just one example of the great people you meet on our Discord.
Mhm.
So, Retro Logic is the only fun way and family-friendly way to talk about, video games of the past and present and the future. So, I highly recommend going on our Discord. If you made it this far, you owe it to yourself. Go on our Discord.
For sure, for sure.
Do it.
Anyways, thank you so much. This ends our Star Wars month. Who knows where we're going to go next? Rambo? I don't know.
Yes. The expanded Rambo universe. Like,
And,
why is he in Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, how did that happen?
there's videos speculating that.
Just a quick aside. I know we're trying to end, but like, there's an electric god, and just a dude with a knife. Why is he there?
Well, it's right next to RoboCop, so
Yeah, but at least he's like a robot.
You
true.
might stand a chance against
Right.
the guy. I mean, you're right. A guy with a knife and a bandana.
Right, with PTSD, like,
Right.
and he's fighting. He's gonna fight Melina. Yeah, okay.
Goro? No, thank you.
That's what I'm saying. Sorry, rabbit trail.
Drew, tune in next week as we talk about inappropriate Mortal Kombat characters. And I've been Mike.
I'm Adam.
Shannon.
And thank you for watching.
Yay!
Ooh, we're still recording because I don't.
This is. Oh no.